Hello everyone. Welcome to this half hour of Back to Basics Piano Method Teacher Training Program. I hope by now that you have watched videos 1 to 12. It doesn't do much good to start in on video 13 if you haven't already seen and listened to video number 1. So if you're new to this, please go back to video 1, start there, and do these in order. That would be a lot easier on you, I know. My name is Marlene Moore. I am the creator of the Back to Basics Piano Method and the Back to Basics Teacher Training Program. Our program is based on love, achievement, freedom, and fun. And that means love, achievement, freedom, and fun for the student, for the parent, and hopefully for the teacher. There are 10 curriculum books in the Back to Basics program. And there are also 12 more supplementary books, or called companion books, that go with those books. And to know about those, you really do need to be part of our Back to Basics Teachers group on Facebook, or tune in here as often as you can. Those books are available at jwpepper.com/myscore/Marlene Moore, and they cost anywhere from $6 to $20. I hope by now, if you haven't heard about this yet, that you all have purchased this book. This is my newest book. It's not to do with the Back to Basics books, but it is inadvertently to do with the Back to Basics piano ideals and the program, because it talks about it a lot in this book too. If you have stage fright, better known as performance anxiety, or if your students have performance anxiety, this is a very good book for you to read. We also have a group on Facebook known as Performing Without Fear for people who do have this. It's for people who are over 18 years old and who are pianists. This book deals in length and in detail and in depth with performing without being afraid. So if you have stage fright or this performance anxiety and you have symptoms like shaking and being afraid to make a mistake and all of those other nasty symptoms that go with it, this book is for you. It is also available from J.W. Pepper. I will leave the J.W. Pepper outside of this video so that you can also get in touch with them to do with the books. Today we're talking about Back to Basics Book 4. And again, if you haven't gone through books 1, 2, and 3, you should go back to video 1 and do that first before continuing this way. Again, this is a teacher training program. It is not for teaching piano students. It's too advanced for any new student. So again, this is for piano teachers and for teachers, for new people who are wanting to become piano teachers, who are advanced pianists. I thought what I'd do today is play through the repertoire for book 4 before we talk about it. Sometimes I get talking and forget to count how much time I have, which is only half an hour. So I'd like to go through this now, and I think you'll notice as I do how we're building on the things we've learned in books 1, 2, and 3. This piece is called Contrary Motion, and see the golfers who are going in opposite directions, doing contrary motion. I colored these to make them stand out a little more for you, but I think it's a good idea too for you to color them for your students. Um, Let them color them in their own books, but it certainly shows up better, makes the book look a little more interesting. So I'm going to play and just tell you the name of each piece until we're finished this book. Contrary motion. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Eensy weensy spider. The sea song. Frere Jacques. Merrily we roll along. The farmer in the dell in F major. Skip to my loo. Octopus dance. skipping through the leaves. Lullaby by Rousseau. Little Bird. Copycat. Row, row, row your boat. This Old Man. Happy Birthday. Beethoven's Song from the Ninth Symphony. Sailing in the Moonlight, Au clair de la lune. Brahms' Lullaby. that brings us to the end, where the children write their own songs called My Song, and then the certificate. Okay, let's go back, folks. Let's go back to contrary motion. If you'll notice, some pieces at the top it says rote piece. Some piece it says sight piece. Some pieces are exercises that are taken from other books. For example, on page 6, it says play and write. Well, this has been taken from an excerpt from the Playwright book. And I did show you this before, but just to remind you, this is the Playwright book. Here it is right here, Playwright. And what the children do here is literally play and write whatever is here. This is my master copy. Of course, yours would come in a spiral bound. These are done for treble and bass all the way through. Find the note, say the note, play the note, and hear the note. It's particularly good for children who are slow sight readers. There's a Playwright book and 2 at the moment. There will be a Playwright book 3. While I'm on to other books here before we start the rest, I hope you have this by now. This is Recital Pieces for Piano. Lots of really nice pieces in that one. Recital Pieces for Piano. When we get through this COVID business, we're going to be having lots more in-person recitals. All the more reason for the Performing Without Fear book and a book of recital pieces. There's Recital Pieces for Piano books 1 and 2. And if you don't have these books yet, please make sure you have them. Scales, Chords, and Arpeggios for Piano. I like this edition. It's called the Brown Scale Book. And whether or not you agree with hand and exercises being good for us, that's up to you. But my students all went through these, and I had mostly advanced students. In the end, they did very well with hand and exercises. Even if you teach 10 of them, it teaches independence of the fingers, which we really do need. All right then, how do we teach contrary motion? Well, it's a rote piece, so I take it in sections of, they've done this before. Remember Up and Down the Hill they had in book 2? And then it's just down the hill this way. So they can manage it. And I would put the stop, think, goes into much longer sections. Unless you have a child that really can't handle that, then the sections have to be smaller. So I would teach the right hand first because they already know this. Call that a step. And the matching left hand. Lots of motivation for that, and when they have that correct, then together. We just talked about hand and exercises. That's how we get it to play contrary motion. I've been doing my hand and exercises. That's what's happening here. All of this, nice curved fingers. We don't always have curved fingers, not at all. But for this one we do. And then in the next section, it's just going the opposite way. F and G are starting together. I don't think you'll have any problem with that. It's fairly easy. Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I use this as an opportunity to teach the pedal. If the child can reach the pedal, or if you have one of those extensions for your pedal for younger children, this is a very good time to teach what the pedaling is. So, you know, we have a pedal down, pedal up, down, pedal up, down, pedal up, down. Get down there and move their foot up and down so they can learn that. Also, a very good exercise for teaching pedal is just this. Have them push the note down, 1, and then the next note, next key, up, down, next one, up, down, pedal, up, down. As you're hitting the note, pedal, up, down. Sometimes they think they have to do it after they strike the note, the key, but that's not true. So nice legato there. I would teach the pedal after you teach Twinkle. Twinkle is a wonderful piece, very versatile, wonderful for recitals, wonderful as a duet. We used to always start our duets with the Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star variations. And the last section of it for the teacher would be here. The student is doing Twinkle up here, and the teacher is doing this. Children love that, and all I'm doing is taking the chords from the left hand of this Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Everyone knows this piece. You can still teach it in sections, in little steps if you wish. I would do this much for one section. Particularly when you're ready for hands together. Teach your sections, your little steps, hands separately first. So this would be step 1. Right hand. And together. Or if the child takes to the rote teaching much faster, do the whole line as your step 1. One teacher asked me, well, how big is a step? Well, it's as big or as small as you need it to be for that particular child. And of course, the pedaling goes in after the child knows this piece like they know their own name, and not until then. Then do your pedaling. Have them sing the words too. That's a nice idea. I'm all for singing. And this is the playwright that we were talking about. It goes with the companion book called Playwright. Eensy Weensy Spider is also a rote piece. It needs to be divided up. I would do step 1 here. Now that's taking 2 lines into consideration. That's what I would do. If you have a child who is slower at hearing that, I would make that here. But it does break up the phrase. Okay, not much to do there because it's all this. Remember when we learned I love you, you love me, you love me? Well, that's what's happening here. Are you noticing how everything from book 1, 2, and 3 are building? And it's used in conjunction with more advancement to book 4. Book 4 is virtually an in-between book. I would call it the low intermediate or high primary. They're not quite there yet as far as a true intermediate, but this is the book that builds on that, just like books 1, 2, and 3 built teeter-totter, I love you, you love me, and the other kinds of left-hand chords that are solid. So have fun with that one, eensy weensy. I like Eensy Weensy. Finish the Melody goes with that book that's called Making Melodies. This one's fun. Because it goes into F major. And of course, the children are finishing that melody for the second half. You might put a B flat in there to show them that it goes into B flat. Did you notice when I was playing the book of the repertoire that many of the songs automatically go into F major? So I hope by now you've taught them F major. B flat, and very important. Sea Song was written by me, and it has been a recital favorite for the children because they get to go all over the piano. You know, when they first start, they're kind of stuck up here or down here. Now they want to go all over, and this allows them to do that. And the C song, the letter C, and they're doing it. C, C, C. C, 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 C. Mostly C's in that song, that's why it's called that. So it was to get them used to all these C's. That's the whole idea. I love the cartoon here with the children. My piano can sing for me. I can play my piano and have fun. I can play scales now. I can play hide the thumb, you know, the thumb going underneath. Wonder if I could start the C song on a different note. There we go. Maybe we could do the G song. We could, you know. Yeah. G, 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 G. We could. You could do it in F major. I was one of those teachers always with my students years ago who always made them transpose these beginning pieces. For the ones that had a good ear, or even for the ones who didn't have a very good ear, teaches them a lot of theory. Why shouldn't they learn to transpose to F major or G major or D major? Frere Jacques, here we go. What I would do is teach step 2 first. Because of these nice fat chords here. I think it's important to get those learned first. So step 2 first. And then the rest of it. Go back to step 1. I hope you give out a lot of stickers. I think children need rewards. Merrily we roll. And we're rolling right along here. Do the left-hand chords first. They already know the piece. Do the left-hand chords in F major, because they know this piece too. And then add the melody. Okay. That one's not so tough, because they already know the tune to that. Here's another piece called Finish the Melody. And that brings us up to Farmer in the Dell, F for Farmer, the key of F with the B flat in it. Okay, I love you, I love you, I love you. And there's one, you love me, right here. So make sure they know this one that's different. They've already learned Farmer in the Dell in the other book, so the whole idea here is to get this together, but they're doing it in F major. Okay, I think next week we will start at Skip to My Lou, which is a sight piece. It's just for sight reading. Some of them are sight reading, some are rote pieces. We'll start at Skip to My Lou. I've had fun today. I hope you have too. I hope that seriously you will go back to video 1, watch it again, even if you've seen it. If you haven't seen any of the videos except this one, go back to video number 1 because there's an awful lot of material in there. Good. Whether you're a new teacher or a seasoned teacher. I guess that's what we'll call ourselves. Okay, guys, have fun, and I'll see you soon for number 14. We're going right ahead here. Bye for now.